Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and we are off to the Bicester Heritage Centre Sunday Scramble. So it's going to be loads of classic cars together. We haven't been before. Ben, our photographer, he goes and says it's a good job. So we're going with George this morning. Morning, George. Morning. So there we go. So we'll tell you as we go along, we'll tell you why I've got this car. So this is my own car. It was given to me by my granddad. And we'll tell you a bit about the car. And we'll drive it and you can see what it's like driving with us, and we'll go into the Heritage Village and see. There's be some way cooler cars there, I'm sure. But there you go, we'll get going. 1937, little quick intro. Riley Kestrel Sprite. So the Sprite is like the AMG version of the saloon, or the Cooper S. So this is the performance version of the saloon. It's got a 12 horsepower 4-cylinder engine with twin cam, 1937 twin cam. Get that, twin SU carbs, hemispherical heads, all sorts going on. We've got wire wheels, we've got cable brakes, so that makes it slightly interesting, or rod brakes I think it is technically. But anyway, let's jump in and go for a drive and let's have a look what we can find. Okay, our drive this morning takes us through Bybury, which is a very quaint little English village. So we play a little game when we're driving through here, don't we, George? It's see if you can see a foreign tourist, because it's really popular with the Japanese for some reason. Oh, there's a Japanese guy there. There's a Japanese guy there. There's a coach trip. But yeah, I think it appeared on a box of chocolates in Japan, and so now every coach trip, and it's these houses over on the right here, this Arlington Row, that are very popular. I bet these guys up here are Japanese. Let's have a look. Oh, we're steaming up. Let's wind it down. Let's have a look. Am I right?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, we'll give them a wave.
God.
Right, let's crack on. Right, we've just arrived at Oxford and I'll just show you how the gear change works. So it's a column change. You can see we've got reverse neutral. And if I put it in neutral, I can lift the clutch up. I've got a clutch pedal, but I can put it in first. This is a Wilson pre-selector gearbox. I can put it in first, lift my clutch up, and nothing's happening. So it's got a centrifugal clutch. So as I accelerate, it will pick up. And what I can do then is I will then go into second, but I won't do anything with the clutch. So I can pre-select second, and then if I pump the clutch, it will then engage second. So let's see if this works. We'll wait for the lights to change. So I'm in first now, and I should just be able to let the handbrake off and accelerate off without doing anything. I'm in gear now. Okay, so I can just accelerate now. Now I'm gonna get second, okay, but I haven't done anything yet, so I can accelerate, push my clutch in, and there's second. Right, now I'm going to pre-select third, push my clutch in, and I'm in third. Go to fourth, watch my clutch, and then I'm in fourth. So there you go. That's how a pre-selected gearbox works. And actually now I can pre-select three because I know I'm only going to go down. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's get on the A34. So I don't know if you can hear me, but we're on a busy dual carriageway now, but we're keeping up with most of the modern traffic, and this car's 1937 and we can keep up with this traffic no problem at all. Quite remarkable for a car at this age. Okay, so we've arrived at the old, you can see this is an old RAF airfield, and apparently it's at some restored buildings. We've not been before. Way drifting. So we can already see some classics. Probably better if you look out the window, George, rather than out.
Wow, the wind's pretty strong.
We could film out the sunroof, George, to do that. You can see the hangar, and apparently they just...
Wait.
left, we're going to the exhibitors. Morning.
Cut around and just park in this car park here.
Excellent, thank you. So we've come inside this old hangar, and there's a collection of and these are just private people who've brought their cars along, just to chat and show off. But look at the number plates, DB11 La, Aston Martins. Wow, it's just some incredible motors here. It's kind of got like a Top Gear feel to it, where they've done it in an old hangar, hasn't it? But we'll go around and have a look at some of the cars. So this is a trick Lamborghini. It's got all carbon dial.
Roadster as well, it looks like it's got a convertible, isn't it?
Oh no. But yeah, it's not new.
Just the cars. Look at the back ends of these cars here. Just classic after classic after classic. Oh, we got some American muscle for our American friends. What's that? Shelby. Look, Shelby GT. Whoa, check that out. For our American audience, they'll be loving this. Shelby GT. This Aston's fairly aggressively painted and styled, but you wouldn't want to hit a speed bump in that. Look how low that is. Well, that's some kind of monster, that is. Look at the graphics and that on that. There we go, we've got a new Range Rover, so it looks like the new SVR, judging by that front bumper. So we got some Range Rover stuff going on. So yeah, you can see some classics snuck in amongst the supercars, but he is the MG 1300. So he was the twin carb. He effectively had the Cooper S engine in him, in a little saloon. There you go, there's a little bit of British nostalgia for you. Rolls Royce there, just classing. Bentley flexing. What's this one? A Hurricane. Porsche. Another Porsche. There's some seriously nice. I'd recommend anyone. It's a good day out. First time we've been. I like the number plate on this one. 6-1, but gone, I guess, is what it's supposed to see, which is probably, as he overtakes you, what you'd see. Always getting upset. Well, we're on the subject of number plates. This one here is good. Your Lotus. But we all know what Lotus stands for. Lots of trouble, usually serious. So, there we go. How's this for randomness? This is some old French thing. We love a bit of randomness, but I think this is the CX25 DTR Turbo. But then I think the kite surf's an addition. Is this a leisure vehicle? Look at that. I guess it must have a roof or something. I don't even know. I don't think so. Judge, I think that's the roof in the driver's seat there.
Chopped.
Yeah. Or like he's got his suntan lotion. He's open. Not the day, doesn't he, Dan? Yeah, check that out. Oh, the power scoop in the bonnet. Yeah, classic Citroen stuff. Lots of Porsches, and they always look good, the Porsches. I've never had a Porsche, but old Mercedes. Old school Jag, Maserati. So here's a very early 3-door Range Rover Classic. Still got its original Range Rover lettering on the bonnet there. in a period colour. I think they called it like tobacco leaf or something. Check out that carpet, check out that steering wheel in there. What style alloys. Yeah, he's good. He's in good condition. He looks like he's used. The best 4x4 by far. So outside of the hangars, they've restored all the old RAF buildings, and they've got a series of car specialists and art galleries and people that are restoring cars. So I mean, they've made it a real hub for everything automotive. Got some American classics here. Look at the wings on the back of this. This is like a Ghostbusters machine. This one. Look at that. Look at the chrome and the... And an old Ford Pop Custom. We've got an old Ford Pop in the garage, but don't tell anyone. But it's not hot rodded. It's all original. So, random fact: my first car was one of these, but a standard one. There we go, a Ford Pop. Well, this old Series 1, look at the, they call it patina that they get on this. That you can tell this car's just been used and painted, and goodness knows what adventures it's had in its life. Oh, it looks like it's got a galvanised chassis on it. We should see it good, but yeah, look at that, what a classic. The older it gets, the better it looks. This old Mini is quite interesting. So it's badged as a Mini Minor. It's not badged as a Cooper S, but it's got Cooper S wheels. If you're a bit nerdy, you'll know the little circles. And it looks all fairly standard, and it's got some slightly nicer seats fitted to it. It's got the standard looking steering wheel. It's got some extra gauges, which makes you think. But then when you come round to the front and have a look, then you've got a Lotus. So they've jammed a Lotus twin cam engine in it, but kept the body shell completely standard. So they got the... That must be somewhat scary to drive. That must be brutal. But look, they caught it in. They managed to keep the wheels in the standard track as well. That's quite amazing. Bit of engineering how to do. Right then, a little bit for people, Ford lovers. Look at this, Ford RS 2000. When you grew up, you're either like the group where we grew up, you're either into Minis or you're into your Fords. So these are the Ford guys hanging out here. So yeah, we found the new Aston Martin DBX. So this is the new SUV. I'll go outside in a minute, but all I got here, we'll have a little look in. Look at all the interior there. Yeah, so this is the DBX. You can see it's got on the headrest there. It's got a black headline here. It's the rear seats. Let's have a look what it looks like from the front. So this one they're making in Wales, which is why it's got the big dragon on the door. The new Aston Martin factory. So that's their new big. That's their new SUV. And they've got the boot open so you can't see the rear shape. So yeah, every type of car, old Vauxhall, Chevette, Maserati, MG, old Austin 7s. Now we've got the Project Smart car, and I did spot one of these. There's one of these for sale on eBay, so it's actually not a custom car at all. It was actually made, it's the Smart Crossblade, and they made 2,000 of them. and they were £15,000 each. They only released about 50 in the UK, and it doesn't have a cover, so you're pooped basically if it rains, so not so good. But obviously they got no door as such, you just got this side protection bar that goes across. But it's got the smart engine, the 600cc 3-cylinder turbocharged engine, but it's mad as you like. Totally bonkers. They did it at the Geneva Motor Show, but it caused so much attention they did make the 2000 available worldwide. There you go, look at that. So just by chance we've parked alongside a Citroen 2CV here, and okay, the cars are both red, but this car was designed in the late 30s. This car is a 1937 design, but this car's got 70 brake horsepower. It's like top trumps of cars here, but this one's only got 29 horsepower. But look, they've still got the headlights mounted, you've still got the wings, and this car here was actually made in 1986. So you can see they really kept this going. Yeah, so it's got a 2-cylinder engine in there, snuggled away. We've got a 1.5 litre engine, but we're getting the 70 brake horsepower because we got twin cam engine, we got the cross flow head, the twin carbs. But if you look at the side even, they called this the Riley Kestrel 6 light because you had 6 lights, 1, 2, 3, and on the other side. And if you actually look, it's got a very similar aerodynamic rear. So you see how it just curves back, and you see the Citroen also curves back and has got the 6-light design, and you've got the rear window and you've got the opening boot. So there is an uncanny resemblance between our Riley Kestrel 1937 and this 1986 Citroen 2CV. There you go, this is a Fiat Abarth. That's fairly crazy, it's fairly vivid colour scheme he's got there. Again, quite a cool car really, because they've gone for the small crazy power in a small package. I don't think this Morris Minor drove here just quietly. I think this is one that needs a little bit of work. Yeah, I think he's been sat here for a while. He's got, there we go, he's got, look at that. This is how many people have classic cars in their garages. Check that out. The interior's not too bad actually. So obviously, as well as the show cars in the hangars, people have just driven along in their classics, and there's just this feel where if you come in a classic you can park it, which is where we've parked, and you can see there's just supercar, classic, hot rods, custom cars, everyday classics, modern cars, pre-war cars. All just people have just turned up, and just everyone's having a chat, and there you go. And luckily it's not raining. It's a little bit ominous in the sky, but Triumphs, and some people obviously come as a group and park together. So there's a series of specialist workshops. We've just been in the Riley workshop, and look at that, that's a competition bus, but they've actually got Porsche services. They've actually got little businesses here that are looking after and restoring in these restored buildings. So it's quite a crazy setting. But there's actually a pub over there, there's a pub, a cafe. So they've created a whole village around classic cars and restoring classic cars. So we're back in the car now and we're going to head home. That was a nice morning out we've had there. There's something for everyone. It's the maddest place ever. So keep an eye on the Bicester Heritage website and have a look when they got another Scramble, and come along and have a look.